Drum roll, please. Drum roll.
Oh, oh,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, December 11th, 2013. It is time to reveal the Contest of Evil. So, I think it was a special little note we had put out in between a couple of the Punisher episodes back in November of 2013, where we announced the Contest of Evil. All you had to do to win a DC Villains Prize Pack, which includes the DC Necessary Evil DVD and trade paperback, was email me and tell me who your favorite DC villain is and why. Between the time that little update went out and this reveal, I pimped that contest post up so many times over the last probably month. We only got 2 entries.
Yeah.
We only got 2 entries, so apparently people don't like winning free stuff from the Geekcast Radio Network. So we got 2 entries. I'm going to read them both. And one is going to be a grand prize winner. The other is going to be a runner-up. Both will get prizes. Not the same prize, but they'll get prizes. So the first one came from Twitter user Scanner51. He's been a fan of us on MWire and other stuff as well. He writes in, "It is easy to pick the Joker, but I'm going to pick Lex Luthor. My favorite version of him is, of course, the DCAU Lex with Clancy Brown's voice. He is a man, the smartest man, some say, Metropolis's favorite son. He built half of the city, employs, according to him, half of its people. He was at the top, and then enter a guy who is faster, stronger, and an alien no less. He is now unseated as the favorite for another. And what does he do? Plots to get rid of the new guy. I'm going by DCAU, so in my mind, they didn't know each other as kids. This is going to sound crazy, but it is almost a David and Goliath story. Little human against near god alien. The classic mind versus bronze story. Plus, for some reason, I have a soft spot for a man who comes from nothing and arrives with nearly everything. Nearly everything. He'll always be second to an alien. Thanks for reading, Scanner51." I gotta agree with him. I've always loved the DC Animated Universe version of Lex Luthor. Because not just in Superman the Animated Series, but what he eventually evolved, how his story evolved through Justice League, that was pretty damn awesome. And sometimes pretty creepy.
Yes.
All right, so the other contest entry we had was by a longtime fan of ours, Mike Carvalho. I wonder if he's related to David Carvalho, who I knew in kindergarten, and David's mom was my second grade teacher. Anyway, first off, gotta say, great job on the podcast. I'm having fun listening to the different shows on the network. It's great because you don't take too seriously or formally, but just go out and spill your egos all over. Oh, no, wait, I misread that. But don't just go out and spill your egos all over. Okay, my favorite DC villain has to be either Bane or the Joker. But for the sake of the contest, I'll go with Bane. He had no reason to exist initially, and as he was solely created to break Batman's back, and I hated him for that, but they came up with a character that had genius-level intelligence, okay, he's no Lex Luthor, and incredible strength coupled with a deadly ruthlessness. But in the proper hands of someone like Gail Simone, he has become so much deeper, as at the heart of it he is still human with human needs. In the comics, Batman has almost never defeated him. Batman was lucky to just stop him when they have met due to his genius and strength. Sorry for the length of that, I could go on. Love to talk comics, and again, great job with the podcasts. Okay, I'm just going to put No, I can't do that. I was gonna say I was gonna put two puggles in a bag, but that won't work. Um, I don't know. Which story did you like better?
I'd have to say probably the first one.
All right, and I'm in agreement. As much as Steve and I are both bat whores, Scanner 51, you're gonna get the DC Villains Prize Pack, and Mike, you are going to get some other prize. I will have to come up with at a later date. I do have prizes; they're just not in front of me. These prizes will be mailed out to you all probably after the first of the year. Thank you to both of you for entering the contest. Thank you for supporting the GCRN. It's been a fun ride. There will be more contests for the pull bag in the future. Hopefully, more people enter. But yeah, you guys both get free stuff, and send me an email with your addresses, and we'll talk shop later. So, Scanner, you get the DC prize pack, the villains, superhero or super villains of DC Comics DVD and trade paperback. And Mike, I've got other stuff that I can get for you. So, just shoot me an email with your all's addresses, and we will go from there. Now, on with today's episode of The Pull Bag. This is our 50th episode.
Welcome to The Pull Bag. Join us as we dig out our latest comics and discuss them with a rotating panel of the GCRN crew. So sit back and enjoy this week's Pull Bag.
Well, we had the contest reveal at the beginning of this episode of The Pull Bag. This is episode 50. I am your host, TF2 and Mike. Joining me is Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Yes, we're going to cover a couple of news stories in the intro, and then we'll get into the reviews. In the closing of the show, we're also going to go over the solicitations for the 26 issues, and we will discuss briefly about other just overall reviews for other books, other DC books we've been reading that relate to Batman, obviously, since this is the Bat Books 25 issue. Okay, first news story. Batman 28 moves back to 29. Harper Rowe's future revealed.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Thank you, Joker, for those spoilers. Okay, yeah, as Joker said, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to know about this, fast forward about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Okay, so Batman writer Scott Snyder announced today via Twitter, the story was December 10th. The final chapter of Batman's Zero-Year Dark City will be delayed a month, no longer appearing in Batman 28. Pushing that story, originally solicited for release on February 12th, back a month to allow for an expanded issue. Number 28 will instead be a story set 6 months in the future of the current continuity, teasing the major Batman Eternal and Bat Family events of 2014. Oh boy. And this is Snyder quoting here, as I was finishing Batman 28 last month, I started to feel that the issue seemed very cramped. There are a lot of big moments in it. Superstorms raging, bat vehicles whirling, and I was compressing every one into a multi-panel page. Snyder wrote, still to extend the issue would be pressure on Greg, and with an issue that has key crime alley scenes and core moments, I didn't want him to have any pressure. No one is as maniacal about staying way ahead of his deadlines than Brother Greg is, and I just thought it'd be cruel to saddle him with extra pages, especially now with the holidays. Believe me, if I gave Greg extra pages, he'd finish them ahead of time, no problem, but why put extra work on my partner and my friend for being ahead? So he wrote he got together with the other Gotham writers and started to brainstorm a standalone tale that could be big enough to justify putting Zero Year on hold. The result will be a story written by Snyder with James Tynion IV and drawn by Dustin Nguyen. I assume that's how he says his name. I don't know. which will show off a number of future events, including a character seen right who appears to be Batman supporting a character, Harper Row, in a version of the Nightwing costume. And believe me, the issue will have a lot of surprises. After all the support you've shown us on Batman and on Zero Year especially, we owe you big. Yes, you do.
I don't think this is the way, though.
No. Big like a debt we can never, ever, ever repay. Big with the issue, but with this issue, we'll try very hard to fill the pages with thank you spoilers, wrote Snyder. Since his identity was revealed during the first issue of Forever Evil, there has been some speculation that Batman's adopted son, Dick Grayson, is in danger of dying during the event. Nightwing writer Kyle Higgins has resisted fan inquiries about the future of the character and the title, even though, while rumors place Grayson in Batman vs. Superman and theoretically suggest that the character is safe in the long term in the comics, Rowe meanwhile appeared at the start of Snyder's Batman run and has been widely speculated as a potential replacement for Damian Wayne, who recently died as Robin. Snyder has said that she wasn't designed for that reason, but that she is a big part of his personal Batman mythology. Okay, yeah. Putting off 0 Year? No. No. Just no.
I've never cared for this character. Like, there's no need to create another sidekick. We've already had 4.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't care. 2, why revamp a character? I understand that the Forever Evil thing with Dick Grayson, but even if they reveal his identity and gouge out his eyeball and make him just regular Dick Grayson fighting crime, like every other continuity they've done so far of Nightwing, why are they having Nightwing's costume and personality switching over? That's like kind of a staple of his Flying Graysons thing.
Yeah.
What the hell does she have to do with it? Like, honestly, I don't... either create a new identity for her or don't have her. Like, Batman, I thought the entire... And I'm not going to get into an entire tirade because that'll be a fun conversation later.
Yes.
I don't see the need for Batman to have a sidekick when they spent the entire Death of the Family story arc proving that he doesn't need a sidekick. You know, and having him being alienated from the rest of them. Have Batman on his own, for Christ's sake, for once. I mean, I don't care about these side characters.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, they did go ahead in Forever Evil. I think it's Forever Evil #1. They have basically exposed Grayson's identity to the world. So it's out. The secret's out. Everybody knows. So
wouldn't they think that Bruce Wayne is Batman?
Yeah, let's hope.
Or Tim Drake is Red Robin?
And this, I don't know if this is the final design. I don't know if this is a DC artist that did this, that's in this news story, which will be in the post. I'm not sure, but it's basically Harper Row mohawked up with a leather jacket under and some Nightwing armor under her small ass leather jacket. I don't like this design at all. This can't be a proper.
I don't think it's proper anyway because she has guns.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah. All right, so really quickly, the other news story is DC Comics jumps forward 5 years with weekly The New 52 Futures End. When Free Comic Book Day hits in May 2014, DC Comics will take advantage of the industry's annual celebration to launch readers of its new 52 titles 5 years into the future. The New 52 Futures End is a weekly series written by Jeff Lemire, Keith Giffen, Brian Azzarello, and Dan Jurgens. According to Lemire, the title, which launches with a 0 issue on FCBD, and with a #1 arriving in stores later in the month, will explore not only the future of the DCU, but its past and present as well. Really, what we're trying to do with this book is to explore the nature of what a hero is, and we're doing that, obviously, by playing with the future of the New 52 timeline, Lemire told the AP News. Past, present, and future all colliding in this storyline. DC has been dropping hints of its 5 years later plan for several months now. The most blatant being a shot of co-publisher Dan DiDio's whiteboard in an episode of DC All Access, featuring a look at several logo treatments. The whiteboard also featured what appeared to be a sketch of the Batman Beyond version of The Dark Knight. With today's announcement, we see that it was part of Ryan Sook's cover art for the Zero issue. Artists on the weekly series will include Ethan Van Sciver, who kicks things off with the Zero issue, Jesus Marino, Aaron Lopresti, and Jurgens, with more artists coming and going as the series progresses. What do you think of jumping into the future?
I don't mind the jumping into the future thing. I just wish that they'd stop jumping around.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's and again, I'll get into a further tirade later on, but this doing 0 Year, Forever Evil, Arkham War, The Future End, it's so convoluted already. Like it's only been around 2 years.
Yeah.
It took them 70 years to get convoluted in the other series. I mean, seriously, while I do love the New 52, the art and the stories and everything, I wish that they'd stop trying to tie everything in with a major event or try and have 6 issues of Batman or 6 different series of Batman and having small repercussions ripple into other issues, and just have some standalone shit and just stand by it.
Yep. All right, we are going to get into the reviews after this word.
Judges. I'm sorry, your answer must be in the form of a question. But thank you for playing.
Wait. I have a riddle for you.
For me? Really? Tell me.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I?
Please! You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
All right, folks, the moment you have all been waiting for, we're going to talk about the 0 Year tie-ins. Good Lord.
We have those?
Yes. So, for the 25 issues, for a lot of the 25 issues, DC did 0 Year tie-ins. We have 2, 3, 4. We have 4 tie-ins that we're going to talk about, and then we'll actually talk about Batman 25. The first up of those is Red Hood and the Outlaws. What dark figure controls the destiny of Jason Todd? Oh, it's so obvious.
Oh, yes.
But think of the fun.
What fun.
So this issue, this was the last issue I read, because it was the last to come out when the 25s were coming out. I only picked it up because I was curious to see how they were going to handle a Jason Todd origin in the New 52. And they handle it pretty good, and they handle it very creepy. Especially with the Joker. Because it looks like he pretty much has no face. Whatsoever. It's a pretty cool issue, and I was pretty surprised when the full page Man of Steel ad popped up. No, I'm sorry. I'm pretty surprised about who the woman is, and I like the story. I think it's interesting. I like seeing Jason on kind of like a mission of his own. I like the implication that the Joker is behind the scenes, kind of directing traffic, but that Jason's friend actually said, hey, we can be Red Hood 3 and Red Hood 4 from the Red Hood gang from Zero Year. So that was an interesting way to get Jason to put the hood on. The art, I really love the art. Looks really, really cool. What did you think of? Did you read Red Hood and Outlaws?
No, but now that you mention that, I might want to pick it up.
Yeah. But it's very, very cool and very, very interesting. The art is all very well done. And yeah, I mean it's a shocker when you read through it, because throughout the entire issue you might get an inkling of who the woman is that's facing off against Jason and his friend, but you don't really understand until the very last page of the book, when you see Raish show up.
Nice.
But it was pretty awesome. All right, so I wrote a written review of this, and I wrote in the written review, they'll be like, I wrote something to the effect of, you might be asking, but why, TFG and Mike, are you writing a written review of a comic series you don't even read? When I heard that Detective Comics was going to do a 0 year issue origin kind of Jim Gordon, I have been clamoring for them to do something like... I haven't even read Gotham Central yet, but I know what it is. It basically focuses on the GCPD. I have been clamoring for them to do something like this on television, which supposedly Fox will be doing soon. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, Detective 25. It's got Batman in the background, Jim Gordon, and the GCPD, the corrupt GCPD, basically going against him. I loved this issue. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. You did grab this, right?
Detective 25?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's quite good seeing Gordon whooping ass.
Yeah.
But
on the corrupt GCPD.
yeah, I mean, and then you get to see, the Black Mask gang and the Red Hood gang and certain elements of that, which you kind of get to see in Arkham Origins too. But a lot of this stuff, if you've seen Batman Year One,
yeah, it's very similar.
A lot of it's like verbatim.
Yeah, it's very similar. The coolest thing, I nearly lost my shit when it happened, but it's a internal monologue with Jim. There's no way I should have survived that fall, but I signaled for help, and somehow I just knew. I knew what was coming, but just that one pause, somehow help came. And the whole thing about, I knew as soon as he pulled out the flashlight in the first part of the book, I was like, yeah, he's going to have a mini bat signal. And then he goes on to say, next time I'll get a bigger light. I freaking loved that. Because it's so nice. It really is. I love Batman just as much as you do. But I love it when he's more subtle. When it's not focused on him. Or when it's not focused on what rich kid issues Bruce Wayne has this week. But yeah, Detective 25, it was simply awesome. I absolutely loved it. The art by Faybook, Jason Faybook, was amazing. John Layman as the writer. It's if I was doing an award show for 2013 for comics, Detective Comics might be the story of the year for me. It was that damn good. Did you have any other thoughts on Detective?
My main complaint with it, and I liked it, don't get me wrong, I liked it all until the very last few pages. What the hell is DC's infatuation with the goddamn Man-Bat.
I know.
I don't get it. Like, I think that is the worst freaking character. And they have it interacting in every line. It's in Batman. It's in Detective Comics. It's in Batman Beyond.
Oh, so you read Chapter 9, did you?
Yes. I was not pleased. I hate the Man-Bat.
I agree with you to a certain extent. Although, because... And we'll get in... I agree with you to a certain extent. In the core New 52, I agree, yes. Don't use Man-Bat. However, in the DCAU, especially where the continuity is for Beyond, I want to see where that's going to go. But we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Alright. Now, this was the biggest one that I was like, I'm not sure about this. Batgirl 25. It is not written by Gail Simone. It is written by Marguerite Bennett with Fernando Passerin and Jonathan Glapion on inks and colors and pencils and all that. As soon as I saw this, that Gail wasn't writing it, I was like, oh, guess I won't be reading Batgirl 25. And then I read, which these links will also be in the post, so people can go read them or go look at them. I saw 2 interviews online with Marguerite Bennett, and I read those, and she basically said that she wanted to, write something pre the start of Gail's run, but still be true to the character that Gail created for Barbara. And Batgirl 25 really does that. I mean, it's basically Barbara before she puts on the cape and before she ever even meets Bruce Wayne. The art, as always, is amazing. What I love about these first, even in Batgirl, the first issues of Batgirl, even in Batgirl 0, they pretty much tell you James Jr. is a psychopathic murderer, or he will become a psychopathic murderer. They basically tell you that day one. And you see Barbara interacting with him and with Jim, and Jim's whole thing is, because this takes place right after the blackout in 0 year, so right after Riddler turned the lights out, Jim has to go to work, and he's telling Barbara, you have to protect the Homestead. And it's simply awesome. The art in it is fantastic. The story is very well structured. Absolutely love everything about it. Basically, they are forced out into the storm. They basically can't stay at their house anymore because it got flooded. And the title of the story is called Homestead because Jim tells her to protect the Homestead. As the story progresses, she realizes Gotham City is the homestead that he was telling her to protect. So, yeah, it was very awesome, very interesting. Absolutely love it all around. Had you looked at this one?
No.
Yeah. It's a really good, well-structured story. It's very believable. There were a couple of times that the bad guy in this that I thought he was going to turn out to be somebody else, but it didn't happen. Yeah, Batgirl 25 was simply awesome. And now we get to the adopted son of Bruce Wayne. Oh boy. Nightwing 25 has the best and most misdirected beginning I have ever seen to this point in my almost 2 years of reading comics. The cover is basically a young Dick Grayson with a red mask over his eyes. And it basically starts off, people are always saying, when they read New 52, oh, the Nightwing suit, it's red. I don't like red. Go back to blue. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up, you stupid people. In the very beginning, you see a giant scene with all these characters, and one of them has, it's not the Nightwing costume directly, but it's an homage to it. That's very cool. The title of this one is One Dark City Night. And this first page, you're wondering, wait a minute, where's Nightwing? Where's Batman? What's going on here? And then you turn to the second page, you pull back, Dick Grayson is having a night at the movies. Oh, man. I absolutely love this. This is such a cool story. And eventually what happens is the lights go out in the theater, and everybody's like, hey, I want my money back. Oh, no, the movie. Fix the projector. And they're like, my cell phone's out. Mine too. So they realize that it's because the blackout happens as the movie's playing. They realize it's a blackout, and Dick Grayson finally gets home. Or we then transition to 3 hours earlier. So they have the whole blackout thing and the mass panic, and then we transition to 3 hours earlier where we see Dick doing the trapeze act with his parents, who are alive at this point. Now, I was kind of skeptical about this, and my only real knowledge of John and Mary Grayson is when Two-Face killed them in Batman Forever. So I was really excited to see in this 0 year how Kyle Higgins was going to handle these characters. And it's pretty much your average parents. I mean, sure, they're circus performers, but, you know, Dick did something wrong. He kind of abandoned his friends a little bit or disrespected them, and his parents are like, look, you need to make up for this, or you need to, you know, take care of this and do the right thing. So he still doesn't at first. He goes out on his own, and that's how he got to the theater. But then he runs into these three other kids and this giant monster-looking thing, and they have to basically escape it. It's a pretty cool thing, and it comes full circle where, you know, they're like, you know, his friends that he was with originally. They're, you know, he's like, look, I'm sorry, you guys. I you know, because their whole thing is, oh, it's Dick Grayson. He's the star of the circus. None of the rest of us get any spotlight because the friends are Raymond and Rhea. And they, you know, he acts like in this issue, he's acting like a spoiled rich kid, pretty much, because he's the star of the Basically, take any Hollywood actor that has an overinflated ego. That's what Dick Grayson is acting like in this issue. And by the end of it, he's like, hey, we can be a team. We can be this. We can be that. It doesn't have to just be me. And he makes up with his friends. Overall, really, really fun issue to read. Has a lot of like nods to Batman's or every house. The damn thing opens in a movie theater. You know, if that's not Bruce's origin before his parents die, I don't know what is. All right, it's time to get to the meat of this podcast episode.
No potatoes?
No potatoes.
Damn.
Batman in Black, because I can't. Sometimes I love and I loathe DC, but they did something really interesting with this. Not only is the Batman 25 cover embossed, it is entirely blacked out. The only thing you can see on this cover is the UPC that is printed on the cover, but like I had to actually hold it up to my face to see DC Comics 25 $4.99, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Danny Mickey. So they basically blacked everything out. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like the cover.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say the least. Um, I wish they would have blacked out the back of it too.
Yeah.
I'm just nitpicking.
No,
being a smart ass.
I agree. I wish there wasn't an ad on the back for some James Dashner novel or whatever it is.
But no, I mean it's a really inventive cover. I've never seen anything like it. Honestly, it's actually quite neat.
Yeah.
I love the embossing on it and the fact that none of it stands out very much.
Yeah. Very, very, very cool. So we open with a fleet of Megatrons, Steve.
No,
That was that was a bad Dark of the Moon joke.
again,
Dude.
no,
Being a trucker.
you dumb truck.
Nice way around that bomb.
Yep.
So we have this trucker scene out in the desert somewhere, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the heck is going on in this first scene. I mean, it's outside of the holy door in the floor.
Yeah. I'm unsure.
Yeah, I'm very unsure. I do like the title page of Zero Year Dark City with what looks to be Gotham on fire, and then you see an eyeball with the city kind of. I like that visual. I think that's really cool. And then we get the commissioner and is that the deputy mayor? I'm not sure who that is. We get this whole scene. It reminds me, if there wasn't some weird blimp, the blimp that the commissioner's in, if that wasn't some weird looking blimp, or if it wasn't a close up on what the blimp cockpit looks like, this middle part of the panel almost reminds me of BTAS.
Oh, I know the art.
Yeah.
The art and colors actually throughout most of the issue almost reminded me of BTAS, like the New Adventures.
Yeah, the red sky. So then we turn the page and we see the 0 Year Batmobile.
I don't like it.
It ain't black.
It's blue with flames.
It's blue with flames, and Optimus should be ashamed.
I don't like it.
I'm trying here, dude. I'm trying.
I'm
this
not.
thing looks like it looks like a cross between a 1920s car, the Tumbler, and I don't know what else. Because that next page, where it shows it doing its jump of magnificence, it's just freaking weird.
Boing.
Boing. It's clinging to what? The wall.
I know you want to make that comment.
Which one was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that Batmobile's gonna stick there forever. You know that, right?
I thought you were gonna do the chain me to the wall.
Oh no! No. Tito does not get a Batmobile. So then we go to Jim Gordon, who is at some. See, this is where 0 Year kind of nosedives for me. I have no idea. Even though I read this and I understood the story, just looking at the images, looking at the art, I have no idea what's supposed to be going on just based on that. But they're at some crime scene, I guess. And the next page, the top of the next page, where it says, a terrorist just crippled the city. The whole thing, from the looks of it, there's a major storm bearing down on the area. Renee, according to the pretty people on the news, old Renee could even be a superstorm. That panel right there, I love Batman Shadow.
Yeah.
So awesome. So very, very awesome. Yeah, I gotta say, unless it's Gordon going against Wayne or vice versa, this whole, I guess it's Dr. Death or something, or this whole creepy guy in this hood with this weird ass looking face and body and these claws, it's basically Monster of the Month. I don't know, I don't get it. It's too weird for me.
Well, they, yeah, I don't like these new ones, but they introduced Isley.
Okay, yeah.
In here, I think it's also interesting that Gordon actually found the Batcave.
Yeah,
and then Lucius Fox is a douchebag.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I it's like, Commissioner, you rang? When first pops up. I thought that was so awesome. He doesn't
Like,
actually
what are you
say
doing
that.
here? I'm investigating you.
Yeah.
I'll let you in my Batcave. I'm gonna drop that.
Yeah, why don't you take a look? Go on. It's fine, Alfred. He wants to see. Let him. All right. Look. Presses a button. Whing! Button. Now, I do like that image. That is pretty cool. All the bats flying out in front of Gordon's face. I like that. Yeah, and then Lucius loses his shit, and I get this is supposed to be a 0 year, and it's not supposed to be the Lucius we all know and whatever else, but Lucius looks weird to me. He doesn't even look Morgan Freeman-esque in this.
Well, he's also supposed to be bad.
Yeah, there is that. God, he looks like Baxter Stockman from the Turtles comics.
He does.
So yeah, we get this death character thing. And it goes back to,
I don't like him. He looks goofy.
It just, I don't like the directions. Like, I don't like the direction 0 years going in. This is too weird. And I'm going to say this coming up in Pullbag episode 52 as well, whenever we get around to recording that in the next week or so, because Batman 26 builds on what happened here, and I just don't. I don't know, man. It's just weird because you see Death, and then we cut back to the trucker scene, which I have no idea why the trucker scene. Is it because that the holy door in the floor, is that where Death was, so they released him? Is that kind of what this is supposed to be?
I don't have a clue. I honestly don't have a clue what the hell's going on here.
I don't have a clue either. And as far as the backup story, I didn't read it. I'm sorry. Like, this was a double. I think this was a double size issue, and for $5,
it was expensive.
The only interesting thing for me, I like a lot of the nods, like the nod, like Holy Door on the Floor, and the different nods to the different Batman mythology. The only good thing about this issue for me is the cover.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and briefly go over other issues that we've read and also some solicitations for the 26 issues. So we'll be back after this. All right, we are back, and So I'm going to talk about some issues that I've picked up, but I'm not going to give a full review on. Batman and Two-Face, both the 24 and the 25 issue, I have tried reading them. The 25 issue has an awesome cover, which it's very BTAS style. It basically uses the Harvey Dent coin to cover up what I assume is Carrie Kelly's face or something. I don't know. But I've pretty much lost all interest in the Batman and series because Peter J. Tomasi had it set up for the next arc where you had to have read parts of Two-Face's Villains Month episode. Well, you had to read Two-Face's Villains Month issue, which I did, and I liked it. I thought it was cool. But then he also wrote into Arkham War and how that plays out, and that is supposed to carry over into this, and I'm just not interested in the story. As much as I like Two-Face and as much as I like Batman, the art is amazing, but the story itself, I'm just not that into it. This wasn't going to be full coverage on the show because I don't know. I wanted to try it out, but I'm not going to pick it up as a monthly. But Harley Quinn has gotten a new monthly ongoing, and I had picked up number 0. It is written by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, and it has, Harley says it herself on the cover, 17 artists all telling me how good I look. Eat your heart out, Puddin'. I like Harley. It's an interesting issue, but it's basically a Ferris Bueller issue if Ferris Bueller was an evil clown wench, is really what it is. Because she constantly, the entire issue, she makes nods to real life people. She mentions Dick Sprang. She mentions a bunch of people, and it's a bunch of stories and a bunch of different art styles. And I just, for a 0 issue, I would have rather they had done something like a Harlequin origin or something other than what we have.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same agreement.
Yeah, so I won't be. I'm sure people will love the Harley ongoing. I'm not one of them. And we've got the final one I'm going to talk about is Batman Beyond Universe number 4. This collects Power Struggles. Oh, that's the Justice League stuff. This collects Justice League stories, and it also collects the... Oh, God, what chapters is it for Batman Beyond? This is why sometimes I don't like getting the print issues for this series, because it will put one story ahead of the other. And for me, the Batman Beyond story should always be the first story, since that's the name of the dang book. I mean... So, for Batman Beyond, this is, I believe, chapter 6 and 7, maybe? Or 7 and 8. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 7 and 8. But basically what happens here is you've got more of Rewire's plan. You have the GCPD, Batman and all them trying to plan to capture Rewire. I know where this picks up. You got GCPD along with Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson trying to figure out how they're going to capture Rewire. In the last issue, we had Terry floating down the river. Well, he lands back in the Batcave because the suit autopiloted to that's where it's supposed to go whenever something really, really bad happens. So we see the cave for the first time in a long time. We see that Bruce basically figured out the entire story, that Rewire is Davis Dusk, who is the mayor's son. The mayor died. Davis Dusk, killed his father in the first issue of this series. We get a really, really cool shot of Bruce and Ace, and Terry's flying off in the background because Bruce repaired the suit and all that. We get a couple of cool scenes with Terry and Dick and all that, and Barbara with the now mayor. And then we get scenes with Rewire and Batman, and it's basically Rewire and Batman round 2. And Batman pretty much cleans his clock for the most part, and they trap him. I'm liking Batman Beyond. Steve and I'm sure down the line we will go. The Batman Beyond stuff will be covered more in depth in future, like, separate episodes from the Bat books.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm telling you guys, you really need to pick this series up. It is damn good. It really, really is. I really suggest picking up the digital chapters over the print issue. I know it's nice to see the stuff in print. Again, my only problem with the Beyond universe is that they include both Justice League and Batman Beyond in the same book. But other than that, that's it. Before we close out the show, I'm going to read the solicits for the 26 issues for the Bat books, which will appear in episode 52 of The Pull Bag. See what I did there? 26 and 26 is 52. Ha! Anyway. Batman 26 0 Year continues with Gotham City thrown into total chaos by the Riddler. Batman and Jim Gordon must learn to work together. This issue is also offered as a combo pack edition. Yeah, we'll get to that. Batgirl 26. The shocking conclusion of the Batgirl Wanted. Can Barbara save her father's life without compromising the truth about her brother's death? Nightwing 26. With the events of Forever Evil looming, Nightwing enters the final stages of his life as he knows it. Detective Comics 26. Batman works to contain a swarm of genetically altered killer bats, as well as She-Bat and other humans who have mutated into bat people. I'm guessing you're not going to like that.
Nope.
Alright, and Batman Beyond Universe number 5. In the fallout of Rewire's attack on Neo Gotham, one of the original Batman's foes makes a shocking return. Dun dun dun.
Mad Bat.
Yes. But that isn't what the greatest part about that issue is, actually. Alright, so any final thoughts before we close this out?
No, I think that about sums it up.
Alright, for now, I am TFG and Mike with
Steve Megatron Phillips.
Make your great escape into comics. Join us next week when we go sewer surfing.
Give me a triple. Now.
You just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, GCRN's comic book review podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you were leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio. So until next time, unleash the geek in